Hi everyone, this is a quick presentation to sort of give you the major steps in this project and give you an overall outline of it in the beginning. Because when you first look at it, it's got 54 slides and it seems a little bit overwhelming, and if you have trouble just in the beginning, it'll really drive you nuts. Okay, so what I'm going to do is give you an introduction to it, then tell you what pages like to do, and then I'll keep going until it gets kind of repetitious, and when you'll know what you're doing. Okay, so I haven't really worked on Tableau for I think the last time I taught this course, so that might have been 3 years anyway, something like that. But since then they've got another product called Tableau Prep, and then there's regular Tableau. Okay, so we're using Tableau Prep in the first part of this project to clean the data. That's what it does. And I think we talked about this in class once, that 85% of the analytics job is just cleaning data. All right, because you've got things that come from all kinds of systems with many different people and systems that input data, so there are like a million places for mistakes to be made. Okay, so this is an ETL, extract, transform, and something project, ETL project. And this is part 1, data cleaning. And the other important thing is, that took me an hour and a half to figure out, this is based on the results data. Okay, you've got 2 different bunch of files of data there, and we're going to work on results. Okay, so these are NASCAR rate. We're using pit data and race results. Okay, so this is results here for NASCAR races in 2019. And the first thing we're going to do is clean the data, then build visualizations and a dashboard. Okay, so the visualizations and the dashboard are part 2, but cleaning the data is part 1. Okay, this is the ETL process is known all over the place, you know, in analytics as extract. In other words, get the data out of wherever it is, to load it into whatever system you're going to use, and then transform the data. Transform it into something that you can use. And that involves all kinds of things like fixing spelling errors, getting rid of blank spaces, looking for outliers, making sure that the dates are right, and all kinds of things like that. And what Tableau Prep helps you do is do that process. Okay, the whole transformation and cleaning process. It's pretty neat. It really is. So it loads data from multiple sources into a data warehouse or a single data source. Now what we're using are just 10 Excel files, and we're going to combine them, look for some errors, fix them, and then we're ready to go on to the second part. So this is not an overwhelming project. Okay, it feels like it might be, but it really isn't. Okay, and it's important that it makes this the point here that data that is not cleaned prior to use will lead to faulty decisions. And that's really seriously true. That's not a small thing. That's a big thing. So you really need to look at your data, and you know, I think chances are that most of the time it really is never really clean, you know, but we do our best. So step 1, input and view data. So we're going to open the results files and get them ready for use. That's the first step. Okay, so we've opened up Tableau Prep, and we're going to start a new flow. Okay, and you might have, yours might be closed like this. That's what that arrow does. That's all it does, is expand and contract this column. Okay, so hold on one second. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is begin a new flow. Okay, so we're going to connect to data, and we're going to open up some Excel files. And the files, let's see if I can find it. The files that we want are, oh God, sorry, I'm going to find it and I'll be back. Okay, I found them. So these are the NASCAR 2019 results files. Okay, and we need 10 files for this project. What was I going to tell you about them? Oh, make sure that they come as a zip file, and you might be able to bring a zip in and open it up You know, I didn't mess around with it, but I'm sure you probably can. But I extracted it, and now I've got these 10 files, and you can just double click them and they'll go in here. Okay, so there's our first one. So we've got one file, and then we're going to add another one, an Excel file. And they'll all just be listed here. Okay, etc. I'll meet you back here. You should do this now. Pause the tape, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, so you should have all 10 files added in here, and notice that they're not connected here in the flow plane. Okay, is what it's what it's called. They're not here at all. So, and then they mentioned, the instructions mention something about hitting a left-hand arrow up here to deselect Daytona or whatever. I can't make it work, and I don't know what it is, and I don't care, and I'll figure it out. But the other thing you might want to look at is over here you've got a couple different views of the data. Like this is the field list, which is a handy thing because then you find out what the type is, of the data, and just some of the pieces that they saved. Okay. And then this is the data preview, so that shows you what the data is like. So if you're not sure that a data type is correct, you can look at the data and see what's in it, and then adjust it as you might have to. Okay? So that's the first thing, is you brought in all this data. Now the next thing you're going to do is connect it. All right? And that's what this segment is about, is just about creating that union. So you can click on any file here, okay, and then hit the plus sign. And what we're going to do is create a union. All right, and what the union does is it lets you connect all these files and make one file out of them. And the only reason we can do it is because all of the fields are in the same order in each file. If they aren't, you can't do it. Okay, so you just grab onto these and pull it down here, and you can see where that add comes up? Just dump it on top of the add. And now you've got one in. Take another one, dump it on top of the add. Okay? And by the time, I don't know what the exclamation points were, well, I'll figure it out. But by the time you're done, all these files will be connected. Okay. Okay, once you've added all the files, then what I did was count them, and I was short a little bit, and sure enough, Atlanta was up here. And then I think it was Dover that was way down here. So when you're finished, you want to count them. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. An easier way to do that is just to click on the union, and then you can see the union has 10 inputs, so we've got all the files. And the other thing that we don't have are any mismatched fields. So let's do this. There are no mismatched fields, so now we know that. Okay? The last thing we want to do is create add a name and a description to the union. So we're going to rename it first. Oh, well, here's the description. Okay, I'm going to say combine 10 results files. Okay, to rename it. That's the description, and then to rename it. Let's see. Didn't like that. I'm going to right click. See, I just right clicked it. Whenever something isn't working, right click it and see if that works. Okay, so, oops. No. I'm going to right click it again. I hit rename, and I'm going to call this, instead of calling it Union 1, I'm going to say combine results. Okay, for the name. Alright, so that's the end of that whole segment. Okay, we're all the way on step 3 now, and what we're going to do here is look at the data format. That's actually like data type. Okay, and remove any null data, because you don't want blanks in this type of product. So we're going to go in here and hit the plus sign next to the union, and we're going to do this clean step. Now we'll do this quite a few times, and if we hit it, let's see. Okay, yeah, these are all the commands that are in there. Okay, new rows, aggregate, pivot, join, union, script, prediction, output. So this is a a powerful little button here, but this is going to be clean one, and maybe we should change this name. Well, we don't have to do it right now, but what we're going to do here is to where one of our first things is to check the data type for the data. So we're going to click the plus sign, hit clean step, and now we're going to look at the fields. So to make sure that everything's in the proper format. And when Jennifer did this, she noticed the bonus points was shown as string data. Now string data is text, whereas bonus points are numbers. So if you want to add, subtract, divide, or multiply, then it's got to be of type number. Okay? Okay, so to be able to look at the data type, you want to click on clean one, and then I selected this show the profile pane. Okay, this first button right here, and that has another field here to see. Here are the table names. Okay, on the side, excuse me, on the far left, and you see ABC here, so that means it's of type string or text. Okay, finishing position is of type number. Sorry. Here's drivers of type text. Car number is of a type number. I don't think it should be, but I'm not going to quibble over it. Because you don't add, subtract, you don't perform a mathematical operation on it. And generally, software puts data that's of type number in a whole physically different place. But I'll find out at some point and let you know, okay? It won't make any difference to us in here. Here's car manufacturer. ABC, and these are laps is of type, this is of type string, this is type number, start is of type number. What else do we have? LED, what do you think that might be? I don't know what it means, but that's of type number, points is of type number, and here bonus is of type number, penalty is of type text. Okay, string, and that isn't good. So this is what we want to change here. Okay, because penalty has a bunch of zeros and it's also got a null value. Okay, 40 rows are null. 340, 90%. So this is what we want to change. Okay. So we want to click on the ABC, and this gives us all of our data types. So this is of type number with will allow 2 decimals. And or a decimal, and this is of type number. These are whole numbers. All right, so that's what we want, would be whole numbers. Okay, and so now we've got a nice pound sign there. This is a whole number. That's good. And we look at the rest of them. Race number is of type number. There's the track name, should be text, which it is, and there's the date of the race, and that is a date type. Okay. The other thing that we noticed here is that if you go to penalty, it says null, and this tells us that we've got 40 rows that are listed as null. All right, and that's a problem. And the rest, 344 though, are listed as 0. But null is an issue, and it just depends on how somebody input the data. You know, there are a million reasons why this can happen. So if we go over here to penalty and we just scroll down. Okay, you can see those null values. There they are. And that's what we want to get rid of. What I don't understand, though, is how this works. So what we're going to do, though, is create a calculated field and put an if statement in it that that fixes it somehow. Well, we'll see what happens. So we're going to create. So I've got my window here is a little bit small. So this is ... to find this. It's over here in the top row, and any extra things would be right, located under those 3 dots. So I'm going to create a calculated field. All right, and we're going to call it penalty points. I'm putting a space in here, and I guess that's okay. And we're going to use a function here. I guess it'd be a function called if null. If null. Okay, so that's probably a handy thing to have. If null function. So what you do is begin by typing it, and it'll fill in. So we want if null, open close parens. All right, and the first thing that we want to put in here is the penalty field. If penalty and a comma is 0, if the values in the penalty field are null, and then that will replace it with a 0. Okay, that's what it does. But this should be in penalty. Penalty should be in brackets, in parentheses rather. So penalty is a field name. So if, and we need 2 brackets. All right, because that says it's referring to a field in the table. Okay, so if penalty is null, then replace it with a 0. That's what it does. All right, we're going to apply this. The other thing that happened is this sentence here came up saying the calculation was valid. Always good to see, but you want to make a note of that and make sure that you look for it, and we'll save it. Now null is still listed here, so that is not a good thing. Let's see what happens here. If penalty is 0, no, if penalty is null, replace it with a 0. Okay, we still have these null things here. Okay, where's our new field? I think it's in the beginning. I don't even see it. Oh, here it is, penalty points. Okay, I'm in the middle of this video, so I don't want to change what I just did. I'll try to fix it at the end. But I goofed up the formula for penalty points, and I just went in and fixed it. But they want you to take penalty points, this field, and move it over next to penalty. So I'm going to slide it over here. Where'd it go? There's penalty 1, penalty 2. And this is the new penalty that's based on the one that I just did, and all it has is zeros in it. It has 384 rows. The old one had 344 plus 40, so 384. And we don't have any more null values. So if we go down here and take a look at it, under penalty, we won't see any more null values. Oh, there they are! Oh no, they're over here. Okay, they're all zeros. Okay. The trouble is I can't start this over again because I'd have to undo a whole bunch of steps, and I think you'll be able to figure it out. Okay, so what happens now, the next thing that we have to do, let's see where we are. Document the clean steps. Okay, so we want to put some information in. We've got an error here. Can't find penalty points. It goes on and on. But what we're going to do is change it. So we're just going to right click it and rename it to, I'm going to say disaster calculation. I'll say calculated field. Calculated penalty points. And changed data type. Oh dear. Oh shit.